Hello everyone, and welcome to yet another day of NGS action. Today we have Division C's Heavy Greg versus Bad Rats. And I just realized I forgot to update the seeds. There, done. Should be good now. Alright, so it is going to be seed number 1, Heavy Greg, and it is going to be seed number 6, Bad Rats, going into this best of 5. So, going on to the points right now. The points are definitely favored towards Heavy Greg. They were able to accumulate 36 points throughout the season, whereas Bad Rats only up at 23 points. And in their head-to-head, Heavy Greg did win with a domination over Bad Rats. However, it is the semifinals. We're already in the top 4. You do not get into the top 4 if you do not know what you're doing, if you are not a good team. So, despite the point difference, I do expect this to be a pretty close game overall. Now, the map bans, as you have already, I'm sure, seen on screen, have already been finished, and we're slowly but surely going to get set up to go into that first map, Volskaya Foundry. But Heavy Greg decided to go for a first pick. They went, so Bad Rats banned out Tomb of the Spider Queen and Garden of Terror, and And Heavy Greg has banned out Towers of Doom and Sky Temple. Still have yet to cast a single game of Sky Temple, but it's fine. Volskaya Foundry is fun as well. May as well go there. And it does seem like both teams are ready as we head into draft for game number 1. Now, I don't know too much about either of these two teams. I don't know what kind of stuff they like to pick, what kind of stuff they like to avoid. So I'm not going to try and predict too much for game number 1. I'll try basing that off of the picks and bans from this first game. As Muradin is going to be the first ban coming out from Heavy Greg. May going to get instantly replied by Bad Rats. And both these teams so far seem pretty well prepared with their bans. At least for the first phase bans. Zul'jin going to get removed as well by Heavy Greg. And it is Volskaya Foundry, so it is one of those maps where being able to hold a zone is very important, which is at least one of the reasons, I'm sure, why 3 of the tanks have been banned away. And Randy Newman gonna lock in that Junkrat. Very annoying to deal with, very good at poke, very good at fighting in small zones too. With that concussive mind, able to kind of control the entire area and just be an absolute nuisance on everyone involved. So, always a fan of that pick. And the Anduin and Anub'arak going to be coming in from Bad Rats. And it's very interesting to see that because Anub'arak does have one of those pretty easy engagements coming out from the Burrow Charge and the Impale Follow-Up. And if you pair that with the Root from Anduin and the Light Bomb over top, it's a lot of possible chain CC. If it's landed well, if it's not interrupted, and if it's not stacked on top of each other, as is always possible with slight miscommunication. then ETC and Hanzo going to get locked in. So Heavy Greg has a lot of range, has a lot of poke. Between Junkrat and Hanzo, it's going to be very difficult to get on top of that lineup. But I think with the Nubrak as the main tank, they should have more than enough reach to be able to get onto that. Lucio going to be the first ban away for the second phase. They're just trying to get rid of one of the possible healers. Both tanks have already been shown. No need to ban away any more of those. And Lucio, as always, is very annoying to deal with. And is also very good at peeling. So when you have one of those long range poke compositions, the main thing that counters it is hard engage. So if you remove people that can peel away for that backline, it's always in your favor. Deathwing going to get banned out as well by Heavy Greg. So very strong offlaner, very good on the map. And instant double lock with the Medivh Sonya. So very interesting pick so far. Medivh definitely needs some time to ramp up, at least as a DPS. But as a control mage and just an overall support hero, very strong right away. With the protection, with the teleports, and then the ley line seal at level 10 is just very powerful. Sorry, excuse me one moment. As you can hear, I am still a little bit sick. I'm going to try to keep the breaks to a minimum, but they will have to come through, and I do apologize for that. But as long as it's being cast live, that's the main thing that I wanted to see. And oh my god, we have a Butcher pick for French. So, Stukov, Melthiel also locked in, but there is a Butcher in this game. Now, Butcher, definitely one of the snowballiest heroes in the game. If you're able to get that meat stacked up, you are going to absolutely crush on this map. Especially when there's all those zones, the control points, that you have to fight in very short areas for. Let's see if that risk works out, as we are going to be heading into game number 1. Alright, and we are into game number 1. And it is a smaller map, so that is going to change some of these things, especially in the way they play. But it is going to be interesting to see which of these two teams does come out on top. Because what they have on the side of Heavy Greg is poke and a lot of zone control. With ETC, you have the face melt, you have the power slide, and it gives a lot of zoning tools with that. Then Junkrat, obviously I don't need to say too much about that. And the Lurking Arm coming out from Stukov also going to help a lot with the zoning potential. But on the other hand, the fighting, the power if the fight is able to really break out, definitely favors Bad Rats. Now, I've never casted a Butcher game before, so I will need to look into those abilities. Ruthless Onslaught, Butcher's Brand, and Hamstring. Okay. Ruthless Onslaught does seem to be the only one that really matters, so that'll be the one I try to memorize first. But now, just a little bit of trading over in the mid lane. Nothing's really extreme is happening. French and ChimChim19 are going to be fighting over in the spot side. But the power slide does come out, and Leap of Faith has to be utilized by Neum to keep Ding Dong alive. And it's very important to keep Ding Dong alive. Already 6 stacks in the Arcane Rift. Getting those 40 stacks early is probably the most important part of playing that. And now French starting to get taken down pretty low by ChimChim, but overall we'll be okay. Now Corrosive is lining up with the Onslaught, gonna get cancelled, so still no fights have really begun. Already 10 fresh meat onto this Butcher. Also does get it from minions dying nearby, I believe. So that will be another way to stack, but you definitely want to get those kills. You want to accelerate this Butcher as quickly as possible. So far not any huge difference in terms of XP. The turret camp is going to get finished off on the side by Heavy Greg. So they are a little bit ahead in terms of the neutrals. But Corrosive is going to take a little bit of damage, but it's mostly just there to scout, not in any real danger. And Ding Dong already starting to stack up those Arcane Rifts at 11 stacks at a minute and a half. That is very good pace. And if Ding Dong is able to finish off those stacks, we'll have the 1 second cooldown permanently lowered for the Arcane Rift, and we'll be able to deal a lot of damage thereafter. Now French is definitely looking like they're struggling a little bit in the spot lane. You see the Impale landing on a Corrosive. Same with the Arcane Rift. Ding Dong just kind of being a pain. Will get hit a little bit by the by Synthesis. The Scatter Arrow and the Power Shot just hitting over the wall. Level 4 talent advantage has come through for Heavy Greg, but is going to get matched out immediately by the Bad Rats. And once again, we see Heavy Greg. They're on their siege camp, and Bad Rats have not responded with any of their camps quite yet. So it is going to be a little bit of an XP advantage just through that. They have been catching their waves really well. They have been able to keep the waves in a good spot. But it is something that they are going to be falling behind on a little bit. Now, the first control point is going to unlock in 20 seconds, so they do have the fighting comp on Bad Rats, and that could be their first point of contention. Now, French and EM are going to get started on their own fortification camp. And the support camp is still kind of being danced around by both these teams. I don't expect either of them to really go for it, so much as they're just kind of here to prevent the other team from committing. However, having said that, Randy Newman immediately going to commit onto the support camp. Ding Dong will be able to scout it out with the birdie. And Chim Chim is going to get hit with the Impale. And they're getting a lot of slows. Rampaging Onslaught going to get hit with the stun. And one more. And that's going to be first blood going over to the Bad Rats. And that's a little bit of meat for the Butcher. 69 meat right now. Damn. Now it's at 70. Oh, well. We missed it. It was my favorite. But now, they're going to start using this death to start working on this control point. They are down the talent for now, but they have a massive wave that they can collect in the mid lane, which should be more than enough to get them to level 7. And at the same time, French is denying this massive wave in the bot lane, so they will be able to catch up a little bit with the XP deficit that they have had. Now, both tanks are just kind of sitting on the control point. No one's really taken it quite yet. Not a single percentage, not even a single little bit on the map has gone over. The Impale does land on it too, but no follow-up quite yet. Arcane Rift already at 18 stacks, and so much stacking abilities coming through as the fight is starting to break through. Ding Dong will be able to use the teleport to get away. Neum trying to as well, and both of them will be able to back out, but Heavy Greg will take control of this point. So they're going to start counting it down. It does take a long time to secure this control point. So overall, there's no rush for the Bad Rats to go for it, as we see French is going to be taking their own siege camp. And in a way, it could be smart to have left the siege camp till now, because now they can walk up to the control point, start contesting it. And with that contest, someone will need to go respond to the siege camp in the top side. So depending on how they try to utilize this, as Anubrak, Logicala is starting to get hit a little bit, we'll use the Bro Chargers to get away, so not in too much danger there. But the control point is starting to get very high up in the percentage for Heavy Greg. But all their waves are pushed in, so they may have to back out. Chim Chim now responding to the top side. French on the back line here. Maybe looking for a fight. Corrosive is in the front line. Just kind of doing a couple seismic smashes there, but Corrosive is able to just stand on this control point. They're letting Chim Chim just kind of push out the top side, so they don't need to worry about it quite yet. The first turret does go down, but Randy Newman does have a second one, as the turret for Bad Rats is starting to get quite low. Relentless Onslaught not going to catch on to anyone. It is 5v5, or 4v5 really. As French is in the spot side. Logical is starting to get a lot of damage dealt. Is silenced, is stunned. Leap of Faith gonna be enough to keep Logical alive, but was a little bit close there. But the Protector has been secured for Heavy Greg. So first objective going over to Heavy Greg. And at the same time as they're clearing out this mid lane, and wow, they cleared out the wall immediately. There was a massive wave that's dealt a lot of damage to the wall on the top side as well. And now they're actually going to walk over with this as well. And just immediately going to clear out this top side wall. The rest of the roster is currently just splitting, making sure all three lanes are pushed in. But right now with the HP bar that's still left on this Protector, they're no immediate threat of getting taken down and picked off. So they can even play a little bit aggressively, and they're starting to walk in. Randy Newman starting to support them from behind, and now that the waves are pushed out, all 5 members are up top here. Level 10s have now been hit by both sides, so Heavy Greg did not really utilize that timing, but they have the Protector, so it's not like they really needed to anyway. So they have gotten 2 whole sets of walls. And honestly, for the first objective this early in the game, that is very good. They've gotten a lot of value from this Protector. And they're able to just walk away slowly, so big win overall for Heavy Greg. Now they have almost a full level advantage now over Bad Rats. So not going to matter quite yet, not until they're able to turn that into a talent lead. And the next talent lead will come at level 13. But Bad Rats will have some time to collect their camps, potentially get a pick off or two, which they do really need to do if they're doing this kind of team comp, As the Arcane Rift, that was the 40th stack coming through from Ding Dong. So the amount of DPS for Ding Dong is going to be there now with a 1 extra second cooldown reduction. It makes a massive difference, especially during those elongated team fights. Able to dish out a lot more damage and a lot more consistently too. It's no longer as dependent on landing that first hit to get some kind of damage going. Like, if you can cast more often, it matters less if you miss 1 or 2. Now the fight might be starting. Corrosive is going to get hit, and the ultimate's going to be utilized as well. Light Bomb over top, and the swipe comes out from behind, but it's too late, little too late. And now Leyline Seal has landed. They're looking for the next one. Randy Newman going to get hit. The Relentless Onslaught has landed. Do they have any kind of follow-up? They do throw out the Bionic Emitter, and that'll keep them away. But since it's looking to take down Vinx, but Ding Dong and Niam both able to protect them. And now Chim Chim is going to get landed on as well. Got to get so much stuns on top. And use the last rights on Vinx, but not going to be able to get the kill. Now French also here in the backline. They do have the Cocoon, but they're able to land 2 in the backline and the leap over top. And just like that, they're able to take down the Stukov and steal the turret. They're going to get 1. They're going to get 2. Chim Chim also going to get taken down. But the Butcher will get answered back. So 2 for 1 so far for the secondary engage. But the Power Slide and the Mosh Pit landing as well. Going to deal so much damage, but they do have the Leap of Faith. So Logic Hollow will be okay. Leap of Faith, once again, proving to be a very good ability. But overall, huge win for Bad Rats. They need to fight. They need to win those fights. Already 160 meat on this Butcher, so Will is continuing to stack it up and is going to get a lot stronger. The extra attack damage and the attack speed is going to be very solid. And now that's even 160 meat with the 15 being lost upon death, so Vinx is really starting to snowball. Now Chim Chim is still winning the 1v1 against French, at least in terms of lane priority. I'm not sure what would happen if they decide to fully brawl it all out. But both teams are now starting to look towards this top side. Control point B is going to be unlocking in about 10 seconds. And they do have the root over on a Ding Dong, but Ding Dong will be okay. They have the Impale coming out from the backline. And oh, the timing! Switching into bird form just as the Power Slide comes through from Corrosive. Now, French is still trading over bot side with Chim Chim, but the mid lane is getting pushed out by Bad Rats. But the control point, that's where Heavy Greg has already set up, and they do have the long range poke. And that's really the tale of these two compositions. If Bad Rats is able to engage onto them, they will likely win the fight. However, it's so hard to engage onto this Hanzo and this Junkrat. They have so many defensive tools, they have so much peel. And the Stukov as well, going for the swipe, is going to be so strong when it comes to peeling away for the backline. Now both sides, both offlaners are grabbing their fortification camps. Chim Chim actually getting taken down quite low. Might need a little bit of time before they're able to join up with the rest of the team. But the main difference is the siege camp is also going to get taken down by Heavy Greg, as they are collecting their percentage onto this control point. Already at 85, so if a fight's going to break out, it needs to break out now for Bad Rats. Heavy Greg can choose to just walk away. They still have a lot of time left. And now it is contested at 99%. Both teams have all 5 members here. Chim Chim just jumped into Logic Hollow, but it does seem like Bad Rats are just giving it away. The wave is not in a good spot for them. They will take a lot of minion damage if they do choose to take this fight, so it might have been a bit smarter to just avoid this fight altogether. If they lost that fight, they would have lost a lot, and winning that fight would have been a lot harder into all these minions. Now they are piloting the Protector into this top lane, so they're going to be dealing a lot of damage over to this fort. And no forts haven't taken down quite yet, but they are looking for the fight in the backline. French going to get to the stun, and the leap and the light bomb, all of that just take down the Stukov. They do lose their top fort, but the Leyline Seal on to 2. And now they're stacking back up. Who are they going to go for next? It looks like they're going over for Corrosive. Corrosive going to get taken down to around half HP, but will use the Power Slide to get away. But the Burrow Charge is going to land. Do they have the Impale? No, not in time. The wall is going to get in the way. But that is still a kill going over for Bad Rats, and even more meat going over for the Butcher. Already at 200 stacks. Is jumping in. Is going to be able to get something on a Chin Chin. Chin Chin is going to get rooted. And in the middle of everyone, one more auto. They're going to be able to get the kill. So lots of damage currently coming through, and another ley line seal just to keep stopping them. Do they have any other follow-up? They do have the Impale and the stun, and look at that, the Butcher is butchering everyone on the side of Heavy Greg. Vinx just dealing absolute crazy damage. And like I said, I've never casted a Butcher game before, but this is some exciting stuff. Seeing this Butcher just slowly but surely become so powerful. It took no time at all to go through the CTC. Now the ley line seal once again landing on all three. Riptire is still under control. I didn't know you could still control Riptire when you're under ley line seal, but looks like you can. And that'll be the end of that play. They have been able to take down the mid lane wall. They did lose their fort, so overall when it comes to buildings, definitely an advantage for Heavy Greg, but for Bad Rats, they have 220 stacks on Vinx. Vinx is only going to get stronger as the game goes on, unless they're able to pick him off, but it definitely seems difficult right now. They are starting to play more aggressive. They're playing for this fortification camp. And even with the lurking arm there and the concussive mine, they're just going to be able to secure it. French now has it. They could potentially look for a fight. Ding Dong goes into bird form. And they will walk away. Successful steal on that fortification camp. And now they're going to start working on their own. But the waves are still pushing into them. They are losing a little bit of damage onto their cannon tower in the top lane. And in fact, it does look like it will go down. I see one final hit coming out from the hero cannon minion. Fortification camp has been finished, but the bionic emitter gonna get chosen back. But they are going to get the mosh pit and will be able to get themselves a pickoff. Now, do they want to continue fighting? They do have the root, and now they're going to go in. Leap of faith gonna be utilized, but the last rites are still going to get the kill in the backside. And now the power leap is going to be used as well. Being still alive, and leap in the backside. Trying to attack Randy Newman. Has the turret down as well, but not enough damage. No follow-up from Vinx. They are too low HP to continue going for that. And Vinx was on top of the concussive mine, but not exploded. Very lucky for Vinx. But they do lose their mid lane fort, and that is an advantage going for Heavy Greg. And they're going to utilize this 3v5 to also steal away the siege camp. And honestly, they could even continue and push on with this. In the meanwhile, Chim Chim is fighting against French. Last rites is still on quota for 25 seconds. And Vinx is here. They do have the extra charge. Will use the cleanse. But do they have any other follow-up? The Ancient Spear will miss as we do have a pause. So I'm just going to utilize this pause to have a little sip of tea. So don't mind me for 1 second. Yeah, someone did mention that the lag spikes have been pretty bad for one of the players. I don't remember who. I believe it was Corrosive. So there is a little bit of internet issues. We knew going in that this was likely to happen. Probably a couple more times this series. So just something we're going to have to deal with. But honestly, it's not a big deal. As long as the game can be played out, I will live. But it is a good moment for me to kind of look through the abilities. Because I do not know... Butcher, it is not something that has been picked often. It is still my first season casting for NGS, so I'm still kind of trying to figure out all of the ability names. But Lambs to the Slaughter, that's a really good name for an ability. And I always forget Chastise. I don't know why, but that specific ability. Like, Anduin was super meta in the first patch across every skill level. But then with the mid-season patch that happened, Anduin has started falling off a little bit in the Apex tiers of HOTS, but... still see him decently often, just not pick ban every single game. But it is strange I can't remember Chastise. I couldn't even tell you why. But we are in an interesting spot in the game because they haven't been able to kill Vinx yet, so the win condition for Bad Rats is still available. However, Heavy Greg, they've been taking down all the buildings. Like, they have not taken much damage over on their mid lane, their bot lane. Their bot lane is still very healthy, and their top lane's basically untouched, so doing very well for themselves in that regard. So the real question is going to be, like, Bad Rats need a hard winning fight where they can get something else after the fight. Because they've won a couple fights now. They've won 2 team fights. But they haven't been able to secure any protectors. They haven't been able to secure any structures. From one fight, they got the mid lane wall and the fortification camp. And the other fight wasn't one-sided enough that they were able to really push the advantage anywhere else. That's kind of what I'd want to see from them once we do get back into the game. It's Randy Newman. Usually I get DC completely, so this is an improvement. He's DC completely now. I shouldn't laugh, but I do find that pretty funny and a little bit unexpected. What I should do, I should get some music going. Give me one moment. Bam. Yeah, so we're going to go to a short music break while we're paused. And I'll be back as soon as we're back live, because I'm going to use this pause to save my voice a little bit. I do apologize for it being sick, but I will try to get better as soon as I can. Also, Talikers, thank you for the follow. I usually thank in between games, but... oh, never mind. Don't even need to do a music break. But we're back in game. All right, so the top lane push has begun. Now, they do have the siege already started. They have the siege camp with them, as the rest of the team members from Bad Rats have respawned. They know that the Butcher and Sonya are on the way, so they decide to just walk away. They took out the entire top wall, so either way, it's an absolute win for them. And they've also gotten the second siege camp that's going to be slowly pushing in, and this wave on its own would already push into the keep, so I would have liked to see Bad Rats try to clear that out first, but they're a fighting team comp. They need to fight, and the more time you give Heavy Greg to set up, the harder it's going to be. And we can already see that. Like, they're struggling to walk in. The fortification camp is spawning in 15 seconds, and maybe they're trying to set up to steal that camp. But looks like right now they did not see any openings. They tried to use the timer before this wave pushed in completely to look for a fight, and especially before the level 20s hit for Heavy Greg. So they are going to back away now and just kind of defend, slowly try and stack up to level 20. They are about 3/4 of a level down, so it is going to take a little bit of time. French is just trying to shove out this top lane as hard as possible. The faster French is able to clear these waves, the faster they'll get level 20, so very worth it for them. And in fact, Logicala also going to start pushing in this mid lane. They're just trying to get this level 20 as fast as possible. They will have to give up this bot lane fort, but for level 20, losing a fort isn't that bad. What will be bad is if they also lose the protector during all this. And I think that's what they're trying to avoid by splitting across 3 lanes. Fortification camp, also, they can afford to lose that. But French has been able to push everything away. Level 20s are now hit. And Butcher will have Slaughterhouse. So having that chain is going to be very powerful. Going to be so difficult to escape things. And Butcher is very powerful right now. And that's where it's going to get difficult, as Randy Newman is going to get hit in the backside. They do have all the stuns just going across. And Randy Newman, with the chains, not able to go anywhere. They have so many peeling tools, but Randy Newman is still getting charged. Will run into the protector, and Vinx will go down. The Riptire over top is going to be able to get the kill, and Corrosive able to get the power slide and the face mount. Ding dong. Only 200 HP will go down. The leyline seal comes out just a little bit too late. And Randy Newman still trying to chase onto them. But they were able to take down 3-0. Heavy Greg, this could be a game-ending angle for them. They have the protector. They have level 20s. And they have 45 seconds. They're looking for the extra kill. If they get one more, they could definitely do it. And they are going to take down the Anubarak. And with that, the bottom keep is going to go through. They have an entrance into the core. And just like that, the game might be over. They're doing a ton of damage over to this core, already at 90%. And yeah, I think that's it. There's no coming back. French also get taken down so low, and they even turn to try and finish off French for a little bit. Randy Newman does get hit by the arm, but that doesn't matter because game number 1 is going to the Bad Rats. And that's the danger when you go for one of these compositions that relies on early wins and kind of snowballing. Once the level 20s are hit, and don't get me wrong, Butcher is still very strong in those late game scenarios. Once that level 20 is hit, it becomes so much easier to just get onto a target and beat them. But the issue I was talking about in the draft to begin with, the amount of peel they have on the side of Heavy Greg between the swipes, the cleanses coming out from Malthiel, Junkard with the concussive mine with the trap, ETC stuns, the arrow. It is so hard to get on top of them. And you can see this in the damage charts. Because Butcher, only 22k damage. When Butcher was able to get on top of the targets, absolutely exploded them. However, the entire time, Hanzo, Melthiel, Junkrat, able to just deal so much damage from range that it was difficult to get the perfect fight that the Bad Rats needed to get in order to be able to win the team fights and ultimately win the game. So, congratulations, Heavy Greg, but that was still game 1. This is a best of 5. Needs at least 2 more wins. We are going to go to a short break, but when we come back, it'll be game number 2. So don't go anywhere. Alright, welcome back to game number 2 between Heavy Greg and Bad Rats. Map number 2 is going to be Brax's Holdout. And honestly, I'm very happy about that. Brax's Holdout isn't a map I get to cast often, but it is one of my most favorite maps in the game. Don't ask why, I know a lot of people hate it, but I just think the Zerg Rush is super cool. Even if it is sometimes frustrating to play against. This is one of the more snowbally maps, so definitely do expect to see a little bit of possible snowman coming out. A little bit of snowballing coming out from either of these two sides. But the first phase bans are the same, except that Junkrat is going to get banned away by Heavy Greg, so that is going to change things a little bit. No more Junkrat available, and first pick is also going to go to Heavy Greg's side as well. So Bad Rats once again taking the map pick. And Lucio is going to get insta-locked by Heavy Greg. Last time, it was banned away in the second phase by Bad Rats, so not giving it any chance at all this time around. And yeah, that was a really fast start to the draft. Wow, typically teams take a lot more time, but these two teams, they came prepared. They know what they want. They knew what the opponents were going to ban, and they were okay with it. And how the next two picks have come out, Stukov and Tychus going to be coming out from Bad Rats. And Tychus, very good on this map, both defensively and offensively. Defensively, is able to clear away the Zerg very quickly. Same with the Stukov. Lurking Arm is a very powerful ability on Braxis. And offensively, Tychus with the Commander Odin ultimate is going to be able to siege up on offense very well. And obviously, Tychus is just very strong during team fights, so that's just to be expected. Next, we have Tassadar and Anubra going to be coming in. Tassadar, one of the mainstays of this map. I think Tassadar did get a couple buffs in the last patch, and especially some of the other heroes that were in the long-range poke mage kind of style also got nerfed a little bit. So Tassadar is in a much more powerful position. And while Tassadar was always powerful in Braxis Holdout, right now Tassadar is one of the best heroes on this map now. So going to be very interesting to see how well Composite will be able to play it. So gonna have to see how it goes. Vala is now banned away from Bad Rats, or by Bad Rats, excuse me, once again. So still looking for that second DPS. Heavy Greg, they do still need an offlaner. They do still need the that secondary DPS, or possibly double bruiser if they do want to go for that kind of lineup. And Braxis Holdout's a very interesting map to pick as well, because 10th pick is very important on this map. Once you get the first Zerg Rush in your favor, you're in a much better position to win the game overall. Like, if you have a huge advantage for the first Zerg Rush, it's so hard to play into it, as Leeming and ETC are locked in. But going back to that point, but this is also a map where if you get map pick, you also get 10th pick. And while in a lot of maps, getting the first pick, getting that immediate counter, or getting that immediate, like, overpowered hero, or, like, a priority pick for yourself is better, on Braxis, having that 10th pick counter pick is so important for the offlane. As we do see, Bad Rats have saved it for the offlane, so we'll have to see what they end up picking. Hanzo going to get locked in by Synthesis, and Sonya, a very strong fighting offlaner, locked in for Chim Chim. And Vinx immediately going to lock in the Deathwing. Now, I don't know offlane matchups too much. I'm not sure who wins in this 1v1, but it's going to be very interesting to watch. Especially since Deathwing doesn't really heal too well. But the amount of damage that could come out in these team fights from Vinx is going to be extreme. So, definitely looking forward to game number 2. I don't think I favor any one of these two drafts this time around. So, just going to have to see who can play better as we head into game number 2. Alright, and we are now on Braxis Holdout between Heavy Greg and Bad Rats. Heavy Greg currently leads 1-0. It is only map number 2. It is not match point. This is a best of 5 as we are in playoffs. It's going to be interesting to see which of these two teams is going to be able to bring it out of map 2. And this is a map you kind of definitely want to win if you're picking it, because you get the map pick, you get the counter pick. It is very strong too. It's a very strong chance that they should be able to win this. It's something you should definitely aim to win if you're picking it especially. Other maps are a bit more even with this, but gonna really depend on who's able to snowball first. And now the mid-brush control is going to go over to Corrosive first. Logicala gonna be scouting away from the top side, but will get matched by Randy Newman. And the wall is gonna come through. Same with the Impale and the Bro Charge. Logicala taking a lot of damage, but will get healed. And the Lurking Arm actually trades back very well on a composite. And the first globe not going to be taken by anyone quite yet. Both sides are positioning to contest for it. So going to be interesting to see who has the advantage for it. Ding Dong is taking a little bit of trading over the backside as the Arcane Orb lands on a couple, but no talents quite yet for that. And now the Lurking Arm has been utilized. And Heavy Greg, we're able to get it. Logicala taking down very low. One more auto. And that's going to be first blood going over to Heavy Greg. Composite will be able to get that final hit. And French taking down very low on the side there as well. So it is going to be a little bit difficult for them. And out of curiosity, it is going to be Power Hungry Orb as they do get another kill. The power shot landing over the wall. Gonna finish that off for Synthesis. And in the meanwhile, in the offlane, it does seem like Vinx is currently winning a little bit. But the Bruiser camp is going to be immediately jumped upon by Heavy Greg. And they're going to be able to get this camp very early. Now, Bad Rats, they're just kind of waiting for this globe. And they do have the globe talents for all of their members. So it is going to be pretty big for them. And it's very smart to go for the Siege camp instead of the Bruiser camp for Heavy Greg. They know that overall, Vinx is going to do well in this matchup. But forcing it in an area where Chim Chim has the extra advantage is very big for them. No side has been able to fully get both the beacons, so both sides are just going to continuously be playing around it. Now they do have the huge poke mage on both sides, and the Arcane Orb going to land over top. And look at the sides, Corrosive starting to get very low. Randy Newman also in a bad position, but is the Lucio, so is able to jump away. But that's very big for Bad Rats. And they're able to get a second one. Sniped out Synthesis. Very well played by French. The Arcane Orb was put on perfectly. So Vinx now almost finished clearing out this neutral camp, as the Bruiser camp is going to get started by the Bad Rats. So they're going to be able to match these neutral camps for themselves. They're not going to be able to take their siege camp quite yet, as Logicala is starting to take a lot of damage. Will be forced to use that power slide. Didn't take too much DPS, so we'll be okay health-wise. But losing that cooldown is pretty big. But oh, the damage on Randy Newman by French. And just like that, they have to back away. They were able to get the health orb, but sometimes that's just not enough, as the power slide does land. The Corrosive has to walk away, and the damage coming out from French, just absolutely zoning all of them away. And they have the natural wave push coming in for them as well with the siege camp, so it's going to be very easy for them to pressure onto this control point now. But the issue is Vinx has not been able to get the same kind of pressure on the top side. I don't want to look away because I've seen how fast they're able to get the DPS. And Logicala is going to get stunned up underneath the tower. Starting at very low, just a couple autos. Randy Newman trying to finish it off, and will be able to. The DPS, Lucio, coming out. But Composite is taking so much damage, and the minions will be able to get the kill. Composite walked back into the siege minions. And just like that, they're going to be able to take back the point. They're going to be able to take back control, but they were able to get 60% for the side of Heavy Greg. So still well played. 60% doesn't really mean anything if that's what they end up at, just because you get 18% as the default, so as the default minimum, just to help balance it out a little bit. But they did have to give away the point. Logicala has not been here yet, so they're going to get a little bit more than that. Already on a 24, so the gains are starting to slowly but surely appear. But French walks in a little bit too far, does get stunned, the teleport comes through, and will be able to get the kill as the spark ray over top is going to come through. Synthesis will be able to walk away, and Vinx even jumps down to the bot lane, but not able to get anything back. Chim Chim is just going to be able to take the wave top side, and they're going to be able to get a lot of XP for themselves. Level 7 talents are up for Heavy Greg, just got matched by Bad Rats. As Corrosive does go in, Randy Newman as well, taking a decent amount of damage. Ding Dong able to get a lot of DPS. And the Impale lands on Logicala. Will use the power slide to get away. French is now here. Arcane Orb just going to be dealing a little bit extra DPS. But it's going to be rough. Heavy Greg, it does seem like they're going to be able to secure this 100%. And Vinx just barely not in time, even half a second early, and they could delay it a little bit longer. But the Zerg are coming. The rush has begun. But they do have the Stukov currently walking back from base. But the Lurking Arm is going to be able to take down a lot of these Zerg in the backline. The issue is, as far as poke mages go, Li Ming is one of the worst ones to try and clear away Zerg. She doesn't do well in AoE scenarios. What she does do well in is being able to clear out individual targets. And it does seem like what they're going to do is they're going to utilize the Cataclysm. In fact, Synthesis taking a lot of damage. One more auto. They're able to get on top, but with the extra healing, with the jump over the wall, will be fine. But now Vinx is in a bad spot behind the wall, and Randy Newman gonna get another kill. So going a little bit too far. Another bow charge on it too. The shock ray is going out over top. Logicala trying to survive. Niam does have the extra heal, and Ding Dong's just DPSing over to the back line during all this. Is low on mana, but that's going to be an extra kill and a fort going over to Heavy Greg. And Chim Chim was able to win on the top side as well, so it's going to be going ham onto all of these towers. So huge win for Heavy Greg once again, and they're going to back away and just secure their own camps. They're very close to level 10, so getting these two neutrals, as they do assume they're going to walk between one straight to the other, that should be enough to get them their ultimates. Now there is going to be a little bit of time before the control points unlock again, so the question is, can they utilize this advantage at all? And honestly, I think they can. I think they could even threaten boss if they wanted to, but I also don't think it's a risk they absolutely have to take. They're definitely going to be looking for a fight, though. It is 4v4-ish on the top side of the map. Bad Rats now showing themselves. Vinx is on the wave. Chim Chim is going for the fight immediately. And in fact, went for Wrath of the Berserker, so there is no leap on this Sonya this game. Going to be a lot stronger in the 1v1 scenario, though. And as we all know, on this map, the 1v1 is very important. Chim Chim dealing so much damage to Vinx. Now they do have the Molten Flame going out over the top, just clearing out the minions, and Ding Dong taking so much damage over on the backside. And now in the meanwhile, the Arcane Orbs are coming through from French, but not able to zone away enough. Randy Newman keeping the healing up for the team. Logicala gonna finish off the final siege minion, as level 10 still not been hit. Very close though. And just like that, Bad Rats have defended the level 10 advantage, but the wave states are so bad for them. And they even lost their bot side bruiser camp. Chim Chim was able to steal it just due to the top and bot lane pressure they were able to accumulate with that heroic talent advantage. And this is what I mean with this map. Once you get an advantage, it's so easy to snowball it. They have so much they can do should they choose. They have the bot lane pushing it for themselves, so they go for the top fort. And now they're going to use the black hole just to cancel the fight. And while they do end up getting the top point, they're not able to get both points for Bad Rats. And they had to burn a couple ultimates to get it. And Heavy Greg, they can just walk right up and start taking it. So they don't even lose anything ultimately. Now they do have the force wall. Logicala is stuck on the wrong side of it. Shockray over top, going to deal a bunch of DPS, but Chim Chim is now on the back line. Looking for it. They do not see him. They do have the ultimate onto 3 mosh pit on top of everyone. French is currently getting jumped on by Chim Chim, but Chim Chim does not have enough DPS. They're able to kill 2. And that's the kind of fight they needed to do. They do not know how close that timing was to being very bad for them. But Bad Rat's still able to win the fight. And now they're even dashing in. They're going to try to go for both of these. Chim Chim is going to get taken down as well. The face melt. Able to throw them into French's combos. So very well played by Bad Rats. They're able to get something back for themselves. They do have the control point. Most of the team has respawned now from Heavy Greg. It is just going to be that Sonya that is not around. But that being said, they're going to have a little bit more Zerg. So even if they do have to defend in the end, they are going to have an easier time of it, and they're going to have an easier push for themselves. Now Vinx is going to go up into the air as the top side is starting to get absolutely sieged upon. And French is able to deal a lot of damage to structures. One of the main benefits of having that Li Ming. Ding Dong is going to dodge away from the burrow charge. And is just looking for people to attack, but the little scarab will scout it out. And now Logicala is standing on this point. And we could see a fight break out here. Level 13 talent, very close for Heavy Greg. Could look for that. And since they are taking the siege camp, they are going to get a big boon of XP coming in soon. About a quarter of a level left. I think Bad Rats need to look for the fight if they're going to do this. But they do not have the mosh pit for another 25 seconds, so it is very hard to engage. But they are going to go for the fight immediately. Comes in sand and take a lot of damage on the Dragon and the black hole over top. Logicala is getting spinned upon, but Corrosive taking so much damage as well. Both tanks taking low, but Corrosive will survive. Vinx will not. And just like that, Heavy Greg, they're able to win this team fight. 2-0. And Ding Dong goes in Commander Odin, but Corrosive is jumping in as well. But Corrosive, you did not have any help. Does go down. Ding Dong taken down solo by Chim Chim. Ding Dong trying to run away, is getting healed up. The extendo arm will not get anyone. So 2 for 1 in favor of Heavy Greg, and they get the 100% Zerg push. And this entire time, look at this wave. This is without the Zerg. This is just their natural wave. They are going to be able to take down this keep. And now French also getting caught. Gonna get knocked backwards and will get taken down. So Heavy Greg able to get themselves yet another pickoff. And that's a pickoff of someone who can help clear. The Disintegrate ultimate is very good at clearing out these minions if they do choose to use it. And French has been using it very liberally to help with these defenses. That's just going to be Ding Dong and Neum. And there's no Commander Odin for the defense either. So it's going to be a very difficult place. The Psionic Storm lands onto Ding Dong, forces them to reposition. And every time they have to reposition, that's damage that they're no longer dealing. They were able to take down the front line, but their top wall is gone. Their top fort is gone. And this boss I keep is getting taken down very low. Vinx is fighting against Chimchim, but French is also here for the help. Disintegrate. Gonna land, but nothing else. The Fear also not going to follow through. But Vinx jumped in, and now you're 1v5, and Vinx will get taken down. A little bit of an overcommit, but Heavy Greg able to capitalize on it. Extendo Arm used by Neum, but same with the Cocoon. Will they be able to break him out? Ding Dong will be okay. Not going to get pushed back in. But Randy Newman is getting caught out, and they are going to be able to get the kill. Moshpit was canceled, but luckily was not a great positioning for it anyway. Synthesis gets taken down to 75 HP, but will survive. So Bad Rats, they are able to get at least something back for themselves, but it's been a very rough game for them. But that's just the case of Braxis. You fall behind once, and it's so hard to get back into a position where you can really fight. And now they're doing what they can because they know they have a short advantage. They're going to invade onto this Bruiser camp. And I think that's what you have to do. Braxis is a map of risk. And the Moshpit used exclusively onto the Sonya. They're going to be able to get that extra kill. And it is a long cooldown ultimate, but I think being able to get that extra kill is worth it. They're going to steal away the Bruiser camp. They're going to get the extra kill. They're catching up a bit more in XP. And they're going to get started on the boss as well. No Dragonair for 15 seconds, but no Moshpit for 90. So it is going to be most ultimates. Now, who's going to be able to fight here? Cocoon is available. Black Hole is available. But they're not even going to contest this. Bad Rat's going to be able to take down the boss. And that's what they need to get back in the game. And this boss is going to help a lot. The Terran Archangel walking in bot lane. And you know what would go well with the Terran Archangel? The Siege Camp. It is level 16 advantage for a little bit of time. I do expect Bad Rats will catch up shortly. Just a couple more minions, and there we go, level 16, now getting matched. And just like that, the XP deficit that they had is no longer there. Bad Rats are now fully caught up. Commander Odin is utilized as well. Just going, and they're going to get cocooned immediately. Neum trying to cancel them out of the cocoon, and will be able to. Ding Dong is still okay, but that is a little bit of time wasted from the Commander Odin. The boss is still trying to DPS. Burrow Charge lands on it too, but all of this, all these ultimates being utilized by Heavy Greg just to delay the push, and they're not going to be able to get the fort. Now, will the fight break through? There is no Commander Odin, but Moshpit is now available again. Flight going to be utilized by the by our good friend Deathwing. Necrosive is currently standing. It is going to get the Impale on it too. Logicala taken down quite low. Ancient Spear by Chimchim as well. And now the Lurking Arm and the Moshpit on it too. They're able to get both. Black Hole is not enough to keep them alive. And Composite, you have nowhere to run. Does get a high five. But Vinx comes back over top. They're going to get 3. Bad Rats, 3 for nothing so far. And the points are available. They're looking to try and get yet another kill. Synthesis got to get taken down low, but will not get hit by the orb. But that's going to be the beacons are going to get hit by Bad Rats on both ends. They are not going to be able to get another boss. They just did collect it. But they're going to utilize this time to collect the Bruiser Camp, keep a hold of these, and start getting their lanes pushed in. If they can even out this building deficit even a little bit, it's going to mean so much. But they've been defending against the Snowball very well. It's a very difficult map to play from behind on. They took that risk for that fight at the Bruiser Camp, and it's really been paying off. Every single fight, they've been able to chain into a little bit of a lead, a little bit of priority, and I got to give huge credit where it's due. They have made so much progress in just earning this comeback. But Vinx is getting jumped upon, will have the Fear on a 3, and is trying to dash away. Doesn't have the Cataclysm, but Logicala is here. No Moshpit for 40 seconds though. So they are going to use the Disintegrate over top. And the Asian Spear, and it's going to be so difficult. Ding Dong still alive, the Extended Warp. But the Dragon Arrow over top, they're still being healed. But look at the kiting coming out from French. Ding Dong, 300 HP. Lots of DPS still coming through. The flight does come in, and a lot of damage, but Niam is going to go down. Same with Vinx. Logicala will follow. And French just trying to DPS over top. Randy Newman, barely alive, has 400 HP. But they were able to win this back, so it's going to be another 3-0 in favor of Heavy Greg. As now they have both the control points. But it looks like they don't even care too much about the Zerg. They're looking to end the game here and now. It is level 18. French is still available. You have both your DPSs up. No ultimate, no Commander Odin. Oh, and the Arcane Orb landing. It's so important to land those right now. As that Arcane Orb will go off. Ding Dong not going to be able to get finished up, but Synthesis taking down so low. If French can get a reset, this could be so big for them. As Ding Dong is forced to hearth away. Can they end the game? 2 seconds until the Deathwing is back up. And they don't have any minions. They do have another wave coming through, but they're not going to be able to get there in time. So they will get the core down very low. 30% now. But they have not, crucially, been able to end the game yet. Now Chin Chin is going to run away. Was able to get onto the mount in time. Now with talent advantage, Vinx gonna use the fear, but not in time. And the Confidence is getting hit so low, but the Disintegrate isn't enough. The Dragon Arrow, however, is. They lose Ding Dong. They lose the ETC. They have a massive Zerg wave, and this should be game. Heavy Greg are going to win this 2-0 in the series. But the series continues. It is a best of 5. Don't forget, it's easy to get excited. I got excited, but there is at least going to be one more game. So Heavy Greg now with a 2-0 lead, and Bad Rats almost able to bring this game back. And I cannot overstate how difficult that is to do on Brax's holdout. They weren't able to do it in the end, but the heart that they have, the mental fortitude you need to try and come back on this map is insane. It's intense. And that's what I want to see from these teams, and that's what I have been seeing from both of these two teams. Heavy Greg, they're playing cleanly so far, but they have shown that they can be taken down by Bad Rats. Now we're going to go to a short break, but before we do, I would like to give a shout out to our sponsor, Candy Crush. Candy Crush Saga, to be specific. Download for free today. It is one of the best match 3 puzzles out there on the market right now. Absolutely free to download. And if you have some downtime waiting for queue, waiting for your game to pop, Candy Crush is what you should be doing. So thank you very much, Candy Crush Saga, for sponsoring this stream. And now we're going to go to a short break. And when we come back, it'll be game number 3. So don't go anywhere. And here we are, map number 3 between Heavy Greg and Bad Rats. There are 2 Randy Newman now, so that'll be fun to cast. But it is going to be 2-0 so far. Infernal Shrines is that 3rd map coming out. Now it is do or die for Bad Rats. They will need to do a reverse sweep if they want to continue to the finals of Division C. But Heavy Greg, been pretty outstanding so far. To be completely honest, they've been playing really well. And I'm wondering if they'll even stay in Division C next season. With the way they've been playing, I think they'd be very competitive in Div B as well. Granted, there are a lot of teams in Div B right now, so could make sense to keep some people there. But anyway, these are just personal opinions, by the way, so don't listen to them too hard. Regardless, let's talk more about the draft. So far, it's been the same pick and bans so far. But the Gul'dan ban, that's going to be something new. So Heavy Greg is going to remove that in their 2nd ban of the game. As May and Muradin are still banned out, and Joanna going to follow. And Lucio is available if Heavy Greg do want that for themselves. But they're going to go with the Junkrat instead. Junkrat was also available for them, and they decided to jump on that. It does seem like they favor that a lot. In game number 1, they were able to get a lot of value out of that Junkrat. And similarly, the Stukov and Ubrak has worked pretty well for Bad Rats. I don't know if they've had... Yeah, I don't think they've had Stukov and Ubrak together in the same game so far. But those are both characters they've played in games 1 and 2. Though game 1, that was with Nanduin. Game 2, that was with an ETC. But still, it is a very strong combo with the Lurking Arm over top of all of these stuns that an Ubrak is able to provide. And Lucio ETC going to get locked in for Heavy Greg. And Lucio does have the high 5 to cleanse out, but the Lurking Arm is kind of hard to cleanse. They do have the brief unstoppable moment, but because it's an AoE, it's not a status effect that's locked to a person. It's a status effect that's locked onto an area. So it may take a little bit more skill, a little bit more finesse to be able to get those successful high 5s for the Lucio. Augur is going to get banned away from Bad Rats. And Augur is a very strong hero on Infernal Shrines, to put it mildly, so I kind of forgot about it to bring it up earlier, but is able to deal so much damage to the skeletons, able to infinitely hog wild on all these control points, so good ban. I approve. But now they still do need their DPS and their offlaner from Bad Rats, so their draft is pretty open, and they are going to go with the Leoric Tassadar. Leoric, very strong on this map, and is just a very strong character in general, and paired with Tassadar, with the Black Hole, you can really keep people inside the Entomb. And with the Shock Ray and the Scion Storm and all that, Tassadar is able to deal a ton of DPS over top, so I'm very happy with this draft so far from Bad Rats, but at the same time, Heavy Greg's draft is pretty good, and they're going to go with the Gazlo in the offlane. Hanzo for DPS, pretty standard, so they are going with a bit more of a poke lineup once again. Very similar draft to game number 1, obviously with a different healer since Lucio was banned away in that game 1. And now the Maiev going to get locked in for French, so very different draft coming out of Bad Rats, very similar draft coming out of Heavy Greg, so will this strategy work out for Bad Rats? Heavy Greg, I will say, they've drafted pretty similarly in all 3 games, just kind of relying on that long-range DPS and just kind of peeling for that backline. And I think this draft is going to be able to accomplish much of the same. And I always like it when a team holds on to their strategy. But we'll see who comes out on top as we head into game number 3. Alright, we're into game number 3. Could be our last game if Heavy Greg is able to win this. Now, as we're getting started, I would like to mention, I know I am sick, so I am trying to stream every single day right now, and entirely casting. Tomorrow, I do not have an NGS cast, but I have been slowly getting better every single day. So I'm going to be doing a replay cast, most likely at around 4 o'clock Pacific. I'll see when the main casts are tomorrow, and I'll try to do it kind of as a hype-up moment for the games of the day. So look out for that. But now, both teams are going to be grouping up into this mid lane. And it is going to be all 5 members from Heavy Greg, but it doesn't seem like Bad Rats even really want to contest onto this. French is behind them. Could look for Corrosive with the Umbral Bind, but it is the ETC, not really the target you want. As Logicala does come through, not going to be able to jump on top of anyone quite yet. And now Corrosive is in the back line. French gonna look for the chains. No, Umbral Bind not utilized. Randy Newman's just running around in this back line, being such a nuisance. Slowly but surely DPSing onto Logicala. And Corrosive is just zoning away Ding Dong, but doesn't matter too much as long as someone is there to collect the XP, to collect the orbs. It's not a big deal. And Corrosive may have gone a little bit too far. It's starting to get taken down quite low, and they're not going to be able to get the stun. The Impale will land, however. Corrosive gotta get taken down at first blood, going over to the Bad Rats. A little bit of an overstay. I understand trying to zone away Ding Dong to start, trying to zone away that Tassadar, but once the team has already reached it, they're not really losing anything by not having Ding Dong there, but they are gaining a lot by virtue of there not being a front line. Now the Concussive Mine is going to be utilized to delay this. Shockray over top as well, but overall they're going to be able to steal away the siege camp, so very good play into securing a little bit of an advantage for themselves. So I really like the way Bad Rats have played this so far. And now Corrosive is going to get taken down a little bit. Just a little bit of poke coming out from French. You know how it is. As they do look to go onto this bot side siege camp now. They do not have the talent advantage. And in fact, the XP advantage is currently favoring Heavy Greg. Gazlo, one of those heroes that is able to push away very quickly. We're going to have the force wall, but Corrosive is already on the back line. Is going to use the face mode as well. Now French going to use the Umbral Bind, and they're going to be able to pull it in together. And now Synthesis has to jump away, but all 5 members are here now. Level 4 now hit by both teams. But it's 4v5. Can Logicala get away? Will be difficult. Does have 200 HP, but no one really to jump on top of them. And Logicala not going to get hit by Composite Santa. So they are going to be able to get the siege cap for themselves, but they weren't able to get a kill. And they spent so long in this bot lane. Vinx was just collecting XP in top this entire time. Was even getting a decent amount of push onto these structures. So while they did lose their camp, they're going to be able to catch up with the XP from this neutral camp with their own siege camp, with their natural. But they're also going to have a slight XP advantage just from Vinx on the top side. The siege camp was not able to get any kind of value in the spot lane. But the real question is this Bruiser camp, because right now Heavy Greg have already taken it. Shrine is active and the Bruiser camp hasn't been started yet for Bad Rats. And this is another one of those objectives. It does take a while to finish, takes a while to secure. But this is also another one where you don't need to physically be on it. And when you have characters like Hanzo and Junkrat, you're able to get a lot of these skeleton kills over the wall. And now French looking for the Umbral Bind, not going to be able to find it. Shockray going to go off to the side as well. So they have been able to get the pressure, but Corrosive is looking for the fight. The Impale and the Lurking Arm over top, and the extra stun. One more auto, and they will go down. Corrosive going to get taken down once again by Bad Rats. And now that they have this pressure, now that they have the 45 advantage, they can send someone back to clear away this Bruiser camp. So the advantage, though, they did have on the side of Heavy Greg has been nullified a little bit. They do have the stun on it too, and they're able to throw Ding Dong into the back line. But Logicala does jump through the back line. French is also here, but very low. It has the Emerald Bind on it too. But French will go down. Does get thrown a little bit too far, and now DM is also going to go down. And now it's just Logicala and Vinx, and Logicala also taking a lot of... I just realized that's an I. Logicalia. I apologize for the mispronunciation this entire series, but Logicalia will be able to get away safely, but that's still a 3-0 in favor of Heavy Greg on that secondary trade. Now they do have level 7 advantage. Just got dinged over for Bad Rats, so they do have level 7 now as well. Because all 5 members are coming top now, but Logicalia does go in a little bit early. Could be dangerous, but will be okay. They're all here now, but 39, and they're going to get all 40 now, and the double health orbs too. Randy Newman is going to get pulled with the Umbral Bind. Do they have enough DPS? Vinx tried to use the Wraith Walk, but we're not going to be able to get close enough. And now Vinx is kind of stuck on the wrong side of the map, and will get taken down. That's going to be yet another kill going over to Heavy Greg. And with this Punisher as well, they're going to look to get a pretty sizable advantage. Corrosive accidentally goes over the wall. You're on the wrong side of the map, but so is Logicalia. Now, do they have the damage to kill Corrosive? The gate is going to get taken down. The Umbral Bind not going to be enough. Vinx has respawned, and with the Wraith Walk is already back in. So they do lose the wall, but they don't lose too much else. Can they get a pick off on the side of it? Corrosive is taken down quite low, but uses the power slide to just get away. And then meanwhile, another huge push for Composite Santa. And they have over a full level. But the Emerald Bind landed onto Composite Santa. They're going to be able to get the stun, and the Impale will go off to the side. Randy Newman, though, is silenced, is going to get taken down. So not the target they were looking for, but a kill nonetheless. But now Corrosive is going to use the power slide in the face melt, but no one to really go through onto those kills. It is going to be a lot more difficult without that Lucio available. As the siege camp is going to get started by Heavy Greg. The Concussive Mine is already on the objective, and they're going to finish this off. Dodge the Concussive Mine, and once again, they're going to be able to steal away this camp. But Composite Santa is shoving out this top wave, and they have that extra push. They have that extra XP going for them. It's less than a level lead now because of that kill and because of the camp steal. And getting this neutral siege camp as well is going to be pretty big for them. So that is going to be a little bit of an extra XP advantage. However, it is level 10 advantage right now, and it is 5v4 as well. Bad Rats, you got to get out of here. And they do have the big ability coming out, and the Riptire over top. Gonna land on a Ding Dong, and will be able to knock them back, and that's going to be 2 kills going over to Heavy Greg. Bad Rats not really respecting that level 10 timing coming out of Heavy Greg, and also bringing in all 5 members. As I do apologize, I do need to check that Gravel Bomb. I knew it was something like that. So Gravel Bomb able to collect onto the tank, and then the Riptire able to collect onto the backline with the Dragon Arrow. Walking through this very narrow hallway makes it very easy to land. So very well timed by Heavy Greg to utilize it when they knew it was basically a guaranteed hit. Synthesis. I haven't really said the name too much today, but has been playing really well and very consistently on this Hanzo in both game 1 and 3 now. Now Vink's still trying to get a little bit of a push on the top side. Almost has these cannon towers down, but French and Niam are here, and it looks like they're going to try a sneaky steal onto this Bruiser camp. However, that does mean their bot side fort is completely open. And the question is, how much can they get back for it? Wraithwalk is going to be utilized by Vinks. The Bruiser camp is still shoving out, but Composite Santa should be aware that something's happening, because they did just take down the bot tower with absolutely no recourse. Another Gravel Bomb going to be utilized, but doesn't matter. The Burrow Strike over top. Composite Santa is still alive, trying to heal up. They're trying to DPS, but so many stuns, so much healing. And a look at that. They're able to get the stun of Composite Santa, able to get a kill. Entomb into the Lurking Arm. Will get traded back, but the rest of the team is here now. Randy Newman able to get another one back for themselves. Riptire going to knock how many people back? Niam is also going to get tossed back. Scatter Arrow over top, just trying to deal some extra DPS. And now the Mosh Pit lands onto all 3, and they're going to be able to clear out all 5 members of Bad Rats. French still alive, trying to run away, but there's nowhere really to go. And French will go down. So that's a 5-0 for Heavy Greg. They trade onto the 2 forts, but you take that any day as Heavy Greg. Level 13 talents are already out, and now they're going to even trade back yet another fort. So that's going to be 2 forts all day for them. And the Concussive Mine throws Vinks back into the team, but they are not looking for any more kills. They are looking for this shrine. They have the level 13 advantage. They want to utilize this with the Punisher. Logicalia gonna dodge away from the power slide. Will be okay. And the mid lane is pushed in for them. Ding Dong trying to soak up to get that level 13 for themselves as well. And all these little skeletons are going down very quickly. I don't think Bad Rats will be able to contest onto this, but we will see. They are down a talent. Corrosive is going in right now, but they don't have the ultimate. Entomb lands onto 2, and they're able to get the Ground Bomb. Lands onto 4, and French is on the backline, but the Lurking Arm is going to take down Randy Newman, the healer. So the Lucio is going to be down out of the fight. They do have the Cocoon onto Corrosive, but Corrosive is still full HP. Riptire lands only onto Logicalia. So they are still fighting, but it's only 2 more skeletons needed for Heavy Grey. Can they get anything else? Synthesis is going to get thrown into the backline as well. 1 more hit, and Synthesis will go down. So they do get themselves the Arcane Punisher, but they lose 2. So how much can they get with this? It is going to be a much easier defense now. The Punisher did use the leap onto Vinks, who is just going to use the Wraithwalk to get away. And now they're just DPSing straight onto this Punisher. Logicalia may have to take the next leap, but they should be able to get away with this without losing an extra fort, as the Arcane Punisher able to land onto 3. But the siege camps are available, and even if it is 3v5, because they have the Punisher pushing in through mid lane, they're going to be able to take away this neutral siege camp in the middle of bot lane. So Punisher has been removed, but it's still over a level lead right now for Heavy Greg. And that's kind of where the difficulties are going to be coming in, at least until level 20s are hit for Bad Rats. Or if they're able to secure themselves a really good fight. Now the siege camp is now getting attacked. Heavy Greg are looking to steal this away. Now they have scouted it out, so Bad Rats are aware of this. The Leoric is on the way down, but Vink's not going to be there in time. So the siege camp is going to be successfully stolen by Heavy Greg. Even Talents right now, this could be the time to fight for them. Riptire coming out over the top, kind of Randy Newman just kind of saying, I could use this if I wanted to. I just don't want to. It's just going to use it for a little bit of damage onto this mid fort and a little bit of poke onto Vinks. Siege camp is going to get cleared away, so the siege camp wasn't really utilized for pressure so much as it was utilized to help get that extra XP. Level 16 is now hit. French looking for a play, but they are very wary of the Herbal Bind coming out from the Maiev, so trying to be smart with it. Now they're able to get the Impale onto 2, but are well aware that they're down a talent, so they are backing away, just kind of trying to buy time. The longer they spend doing things that isn't attacking Bad Rats, the better it is for Bad Rats. Now Corrosive is jumping in with a power slide. They are looking for a potential kill. Dragon Arrow going to go backwards. Unfortunate mistake. But the black hole is going to be utilized, and they're going to be able to save French for now. But the concussive mine lands on a French as well. And that's the play you wanted. Now Logicalia is going to get face melted back into the team. And with the silence and the cocoon, so no, the gravel bomb lands on all of them. The stun lands on it too. They will be able to walk away, but that's still a 2-for-0 for Heavy Greg. Lurking Arm just going to be utilized to try and clear away some of these minions. They don't have a wave to really continuously push onto this. And with Ding Dong and Niam still alive, it is a difficult push, but a 2-for-0. You will take that any day. And you know where they do have a wave? Mid lane. And there's a mid lane fort for them to pick up. And it should be a pretty safe and easy pickup for them too. Now it is still going to be stacked up onto that shock ray. So every time that lands, it's going to deal that extra damage. And I've seen in other games just how strong Tassadar can become in that late game once everything is fully stacked up. The shrine has spawned. Vinks just going to reset. Knows that it was a little bit of a difficult position to be in, so decides it's smart to just reset, give up this top fort. At this point of the game, while it does matter, it isn't quite the biggest deal. Having the good positioning for this team fight, having level 16, that's what really matters. But they are in a little bit of a timer. All bottom and mid lane are going to be pushing into Bad Rats, so they need to start a fight earlier rather than later. They're going to get stunned up, but French looking for a play. Not going to be able to land it quite on anyone. Black Hole just going to be utilized to split the fight in 2. But Corrosive able to get the stun onto so many. Riptire and everything just utilized over top. The Warden's Prison as well. Logicalia going to get taken down. And now they do have their main tank stuck in the cocoon, but it doesn't matter when you get a 3-for-0. And that was the fight the Bad Rats really needed to win. Heavy Grey going to be able to walk away with a massive lead. They're going to get this Punisher. And Vinks is trying to get respawned as soon as possible with a life drain, but it's not going to be enough. I don't think they'll be able to get the level 20s. They may be holding out, trying to delay. But nope, Corrosive will get the final hit. The Bruiser Camp will get taken down as well. So they're going to have the Frozen Punisher. They're going to have a Bruiser Camp shoving out on this top side. The other Bruiser Camp still 2.5 minutes away. So could potentially be something on the exit. But even that, I think it's a bit too long. But they're level 19 right now. They are 2 full levels above Bad Rats. And they have a very strong push coming in. Mosh Pit still on cooldown. One of those longer ultimates. But the Shock Ray, if they're able to poke away enough with Ding Dong, they might be able to defend this keep, but this wall is definitely going to be gone. The root does land on the Logicalia. They are an even talent here, so if they do want to fight, they can. Vinks could be looking for a play. Does have a little bit of a life drain onto Corrosive, but not much else. They're taking a lot of DPS onto this. French looking in the back line. They got to get the Entomb. They do have Composite Santa, but the Gravel Bomb is going to land on it too. And the Riptire, and once again, the Wombo combo coming out from Heavy Greg. And now they are still alive. Both teams are still up and available. But the mosh pit lands on for Corrosive. What are you doing? Look at what they've done to Bad Wrath. And that should be the series. That should be the clean sweep. Heavy Greg able to take down Bad Wrath 3-0. And what an amazing ultimate by Corrosive. The wombo combo almost worked. They got the HP advantage. But Corrosive able to land the mosh pit on a 4 just as the cooldown respawned. They were able to win this series. And they're going to the finals of Division C. And what a spectacular ending to this game. Heavy Greg able to get that 3-0 into Bad Rats. Just an absolute masterpiece. And that final game, they were able to get the lead. They were able to hold the lead. Bad Rats gave them a run for their money. There was a couple fights that could have gone either way. But Heavy Greg, they were able to win every single one of those fights that they needed to. And with that, they're able to come out with a victory and get that 3-0 and move on to the finals. So huge win coming out for them right now. Now I'm going to see if anyone is available for an interview. Let me just quickly double check. I'm not going to force them, but... I'm just going to hop into one of these calls, and we will see. Da-da-da. But either way, thank you everyone for watching. We should be able, if we don't have an interview, I will be rating out shortly to one of the other NGS games. I believe there's still a couple going on. And I will try and be live tomorrow with a replay. As long as my voice doesn't get worse. If it stays the way it is now, I'm happy. I will take that. But otherwise, I will be live tomorrow with a replay, and I'll try to zone that, and I'll try to use that into something else as well. Hello?
He's muted.
No. Ah, there we go. Sorry, I was just trying to set up the audio on my stream for this. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. How do you guys feel?
Feels good.
Feels great. Yeah, this is a good team. We were happy that the games went relatively smoothly, I guess for the most part. There's a few not smooth moments in every game, I think, but
Yep. Not gonna lie, I was worried like all day. I'm like, this is gonna be a tough one. This is gonna be a tough one. Like all day at work.
Well, you were able to get a lot of really big plays, especially that 4-person mosh pit at the end. That was an absolute banger to see. What was it like being able to land pretty much every single one of their members in that key ultimate?
I was calling it. I was in a cocoon. I said 3 seconds on Mosh. Like it was literally coming up on cooldown. As soon as cocoon broke, like it was over with.
Yeah.
It was great.
And I really like those drafts. I do have to ask, which Randy Newman is this?
I'm the healer, Randy Newman.
The healer, Randy Newman. Okay.
Randi.
Yeah, you were being very annoying on that Lucio. I do have to tell you that. Is this... And I gotta ask, because everyone has their own specific reason for playing Lucio. Why do you like that hero?
I guess I like the... Well, I mean, certainly the high five is the main reason from a tactical standpoint. Like, the cleanse is so nice to have, and just the mobility to be able to get around the map, but... you do find that people get kind of tilted with just the constant bothering them, and then you'll see people like rip like kind of crazy big cooldowns just to try to punish you at some point. So sometimes they hit, and then you look like an idiot. But sometimes it works out pretty well, I think, usually in the long run. But yeah, I like getting to play Lucio for sure. But
Usually Lucio gets banned, like one tank and a Lucio or something, but they targeted the tank all night tonight.
Yeah, they did ban Lucio in that first game, but I believe they banned it in the second phase.
Yes.
So
yeah, so then I picked it a little earlier in the second and third games to make sure I got it through, yeah.
So I was curious about that as well, because I noticed that, yeah, it's been banned against you guys pretty much every single game.
Mm-hmm.
So why did you decide to leave it for second phase? If you don't mind me asking, I know that might be a bit sensitive for the team, but
I don't know. I guess we sort of, I forget who all we picked early in the first one. That we picked, what did we get? We got the tank. They banned a lot of tanks, so I think we wanted to make sure we got a tank. We liked the Junkrat to take from them, and Hanzo I think we like too. And so I feel pretty good on lots of different healers. So I don't know. I play Lucio a lot, but
Well, I locked
I
a
like,
Nubrak, and you said I've got so and so lined up for a Nubrak. Like we're good.
yeah, yeah, that's right.
all right.
Well, so you were on ETC in game one, weren't you? On Full
Yes.
Sky, that's the one you're talking about. Yeah. So
So,
we didn't pick the healer right away because I think we just sort of thought this would be fine to wait it out, and then they picked some blow up stuff that I thought, I don't know, like Stukov seemed good with the slap away, and just after 16 where everybody gets healed on every stun, like it seemed like it worked pretty effectively into that team. It took us a little while to figure out how we needed to play against that blow up, where we needed to just like survive the initial engage, and then I think we'd win the fight because our sustained damage was quite a bit better, and the sustained healing I think too with Stukov. But it was a little touch and go at a couple of times where they were executing their combo pretty effectively.
Yeah, that final team fight was very close in game number one.
Yeah,
You were down to like 200 HP on 3 separate occasions in that one final team fight. One more auto, and that would have been it.
Yeah, I would not have survived if I didn't get the shield from that the mech thing for sure. I saw that bought me enough time to get into the mech and then survive from there. But I think I used ballista spores and the D originally to just survive, plus the shield. I don't know. I feel like we had other turrets and stuff too. Like we needed every little bit of everything to keep me alive there. They were close. That was fun. Last fight of that game for sure.
All right, and one final question. Are there any shout-outs, anything you want to say to the audience?
Oh yeah. Well, thanks to you for casting it, and thanks to NGS for putting the series together. The whole season's been great in Division C. I feel like every game's been a really good game. I think any of these, if we had lost a fight late game, we might have lost the game. So shout out to Bad Rats for some really cool comps that made us think. As always, we love that about the planning and the scouting and trying to figure out what we're going to do, and we're always slightly caught off guard and have to adapt on the fly. We always enjoy watching the streams afterwards, so we'll probably watch the VOD here afterwards to see how it looked from a neutral perspective. Like in the moment, it's always pure chaos. Thanks to all the Gregonite fans out there. Thanks to our subs that have helped us off, throughout the season. We were able to rotate 6 people in the games really effectively. Everybody's been doing a great job, and thanks to our coaches and the teams that have scrimmed against us to get us prepared for these. What else? Am I missing anything, Corrosive?
Man, you nailed it on the dot. Like, yeah. Thanks. Bad Rats. That was a good series.
Yeah, great
I
games.
was nervous the entire time. Like,
yeah, like the 2 Randys and I had played with French and Logicali on a team in the past before, so this was sort of personal, this one. So we were making sure that this game went well, hopefully. So we're glad to get the win because they are a scary team. We know how good they can play. But yeah, thanks to you for casting.
yes,
And,
definitely.
have a good
Been my
evening.
pleasure. Thanks for putting on a show.
Yeah.
You know it.
All right. Well, with that, thank you very much and have a good night.
All right, you too.
You too,
Take
man.
care.
Later.
And with that, we will be ending the stream as well. So huge shout out to Randy Newman, the healer, and Corrosive for coming out for that interview. Now, I am going to raid off to Nexus Gaming Series. And thank you all for watching. And have a good night. I'll be back live tomorrow with some replays.